Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is hautemesstom. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, my channel is all about loving our collections for what they are and being critical not only of new makeup releases, but also the collection we currently have, because sometimes it's hard to admit you made a mistake with the things that you have in your collection. Today we are going to be continuing my messmas. Hi, welcome to messmas, little series where I am trying to put everything that I own, all of the makeup I own, on my face at least one more time before the end of the year. And basically every time I use something, I put it in a box, then I can't use it again unless I've used that whole category. So I always use bronzers as an example. Once I use up all my bronzers, I can pull them back out and start cycling through them again. And this is just so I can have a better relationship with all of the items in my collection. So if that content sounds good to you, I'd love to have you subscribe. And also, if you want to really support me, I also have a Patreon, and you can find that in the links down below if you are interested. Hi, so you may feel the energy, you may feel that it has crestfallen. I'm just a little bit tired. I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit in my feelings in a way that I hadn't been in my feelings up until this point. Nothing that has to do with the stress of messmas. So let's not get it twisted, but I'm just feeling a little bit. I'm feeling a little low. There's a lot of emotions happening today, not only from Camp Hope Mess, but also other camps that I am also involved with. So today we're gonna keep it easy breezy, light and peasy. I think these glasses are really blowing it out, and they're real. These are like prescription. I didn't feel like putting contacts in today, but I just it was blowing me out. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna wear glasses today. So my friend is coming over. She's done with work at 3:30, so we're gonna breeze through this a little bit faster, but luckily we're getting through some categories now that we're repeating, and I don't feel like I need to talk about those items as much, and that's okay by me, and I'm sure that's okay by you. I have pulled out the items I wish to use. We're gonna keep it easy and keep it simple. I'm gonna be mixing the Natasha Denona Mini Retro and Mini Glam palette, Mini Retro and Mini Glam palettes on my eyes. The plan is to kind of dip into both a little bit. So the thing is, I don't really want to use green in my crease today. So that is why I had pulled out this one, because I want to use this shade in my crease, and then I'll probably deepen out the outer V with this shimmer. And then on the lid, I will either do one of these two shimmers, because this shimmer right here, I really love this formula. I think I don't know. I don't think I've encountered it in any other palette that I have from Natasha Denona. And I don't know if it's shade Galaxia or Pixie, but I kind of want more like this. So if you guys know of any Natasha Denona shades and any palettes that are just like this formula, then I would love to know. So let me know. Go ahead and let me know. I will prime it. It's like anything could be the thing that makes me cry today. And that's okay. I think I'm one of those people who, it's not like I don't really prescribe to conceal, don't feel. I'll jokingly say that. Cause I don't think having emotions is I think a lot of people who feel that way feel like emotions are lesser, and it's something that was kind of ingrained into their brain as a young age. I just feel like I cried so much as a kid that I'm no tears left to cry, Ariana says. And so whenever I do get moody, it's this is a really gross analogy, but hopefully you'll ride with me through this analogy. Whenever you drank too much and it's if you throw up, this is such a bad analogy. If you throw up, you're gonna feel better, overall, you'll feel better instantly. And tomorrow morning, you'll have less of a hangover. I'm using this shade from the Zendo. Did I say glam earlier? I meant retro. Hopefully you knew what I meant. I can't wait to edit and, make a joke at myself. I don't really prescribe to the idea of conceal, don't feel. But it takes a while for the floodgates to start. And then I'm one of those people who once the floodgates open, they're very hard to close until the next day. That's the space I've been living in. I'm gonna use the Mini Retro palette. I'm gonna use this as a transition shade. And I'm gonna just keep it real simple to the eye. We're not doing any extracurriculars today. Not my favorite eye shape that I do. Just a real quick, easy eye. And I think it's one of those things where I'm having a little bit of compounded issues. I don't want anyone to feel any kind of way, but this takes a lot of time to post every day. And the other thing is, and this is not a shade to anyone else who does like does content daily for messmas or for Christmas or for like the holiday season. But, you know, I am making like longer content. You know, some of my videos end up being close to 40 minutes. And I don't know, I don't have to do that. I can edit them down. Some of my videos that are like 40 minutes, those I recorded for 90. So like, it takes some time. And then I have to edit all that down and at a pretty rapid turnaround time. Anyway, so I think because I'm like kind of go, I'm not having time to process some other things that I need to process, which is, I'm going to say, okay, I was explaining to my friend that my cup is just a little bit full right now. Just a little bit full. And I think allowing the floodgates to open it would send me like off of the rails a little bit, just a little bit. So I'm like holding off on those feelings. But what is a beautiful thing for me, I know I really come off as like as an extrovert, but I really prefer to not. Like, that's just like that's not it. And I'm not unpolite or whatever. Like, if I'm out, I'm gonna like have a good time because that's what we're there to do, right? That's why we went out. I've set myself up this weekend where the only thing that I have to do, and I'm gonna put that in air quotes because I know I do not have to, is film and edit. And that won't take up my whole weekend, right? So when the laptop closes, I will have some time to myself. That isn't any of this or any other thing. So I'm looking forward to that. Another thing I'm looking forward to is okay, let's do it. Let's just try it. I feel like I've had this Zendo palette for a while, and I just like I don't play with it very often, the mini Zendo. So I'm gonna go into like the dark shade here and just keep it in the outer V. And I don't really care if I lose the shimmer with the kind of brush that I decided to use. Sorry, back to me. Back to thoughts and feelings. I'm going to see Evanescence on Tuesday, and my middle school heart just like is swooning because they were like my favorite band in middle school. And that first album like meant so much to me. And I know that they have gone on to continue to pursue music long after I stopped listening to them. And I know there's going to be songs that they play that evening that I'm not going to be familiar with, but I'm just like looking forward to that. So very excited to see Evanescence. That'll be a nice little breather. I still have some PTO to burn this year, and I don't have to actually use it all, but I just started doing it. I'm taking that shade that I said I really like the formula of, because I just like the way it razzle dazzles, and I'm just using my finger to tap it on the lid. It's so pretty. It has no rate. But anyway, should I stay at this job for a considerable amount of time, I will have to use all my PTO by the end of the year. Like, because I'm so fresh and like newer to this company, my PTO rolls over. This is like a lot of weird information that I'm telling you, but I maybe should get into the habit of trying to use my PTO. I'm using this pink shade from the Mini Retro. There we have it. A clean and easy breezy. So we did that, and we knocked out 2 palettes today. I'll be using the All-Nighter Primer, which I've used before on for this project, because we are now cycling through primers part 2, which is pretty exciting, you know. Well, I guess, is it exciting? It just means I just don't have as many primers as I have of some other things. I'm actually going to apply the primer with a brush today because my hands are glittery and I just like don't feel like getting up to wash them. But in beauty school, they told us to apply primer with a brush. I don't know, I kind of like to work it into the skin a little. Like, I do prefer using my hands for primer. So I might take the day, I don't have the day after the concert taken off. I might try to see that through. I have to check to see if I have any meetings that day. And then today, for foundation, I'm going to be using the Givenchy City Tint Couture Balm. This is, I've mentioned this on my channel. It's one of my favorite products. It has a terrible shade range, which I also make sure I mention every time. So I know, right? Like I know that it's like not a product that, you know, it's not an inclusive product, which I hate. I did watch, I think Taylor Wynn, is that her name? I just started watching her channel recently, and she's a big YouTuber. She's a bigger YouTuber. She said there was a dupe from this that Essence makes. I wonder if their shade range is a little more inclusive. So this is it right here. Not super runny, but not super thick. It has like the Givenchy scent, so it smells like Givenchy products, and so it's one of those things that I just gonna have to say, like, if you know it, then you know it, and if you don't, you don't. But like having worked with having worked at Sephora and like touched Givenchy stuff, like all of their stuff smells like this. But I'm gonna use a brush today. I cannot believe that like Christmas is 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm recording. Today is the 10th, so Christmas will be 2 weeks from tomorrow. You'll be seeing this on Sunday, so even less time for you, I guess. So if you needed that reminder, you're welcome. But also, I'm sorry because I'm feeling that. However, Christmas is close, but another important thing is about to happen: is the winter solstice, and that just means that the days are going to start getting longer for us soon, which I think I know I need, and I know that we're not going to really see the benefits of that for a bit, but it's nice to know that it's coming, right? It's nice to know there's just something reassuring about knowing that the days are going to get longer soon. And you know what's so interesting? And I know that like there's like a lot of biology and psychological things that happen, but like, isn't it so curious that like we somehow forget about this every year? Or I think we forget how it feels, right? Like I know that I get sad. I get sad in the winter time. Like, and I understand that the days are going to get shorter. But like there's something about the bliss of the other times of the year that I feel, or like that the regulatory emotions that I feel the other times of the year that like black out for whatever reason, like black out this feeling, right? Oh my God. I'm through all of my concealers. I was like, what concealer am I going to use today? There are none left in the drawer. I'm going to grab a concealer from my box. I'm going to be using the Pat McGrath concealer today just because it happened to be closest to the top. I saw it fast. We're just going to do a dab-a-dab-a-do. I've already talked about this concealer in greater length in another video. I really like the finish of the City 10 Couture Balm. I like the coverage. I like my skin's glowing, but it's like not dewy. I would just say it's like there's like a healthy radiance happening on my skin. I just think it's so beautiful. I'm gonna just use a brush today. So the last time, now we can do comparisons. So the last time I used the Pat McGrath, I can't remember what foundation I used it with, but I remember it being a lighter coverage foundation. And as I was using it, I thought, this isn't going to work. Like this Pat McGrath is too full coverage. And the Pat McGrath has great coverage. It is like it's a really nice concealer. Like it really is. In my brain, I was like, well, I can only use this like with things that have not excessive, but just like more coverage than I normally lean towards. And if you're new here, I tend to prefer a little bit like lighter coverage, so like medium, light medium, maybe even light, or like Glossier Invisible. So that is kind of where I'm coming from. I'm gonna set my eyes with the Chantikai blurring powder. I've learned during editing so frequently, this is the most so I know I look at my face a lot when I'm editing like my other videos. However, I haven't looked at my face this much while I'm putting on makeup in so long, and I definitely make the ugliest faces when I'm doing something right under my eye. Like, that is really and it's not mascara. I know a lot of people have mascara as like, that's their ticket to a weird face. No, my ticket to a weird face under the eye. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna set the rest of my face with Laura Mercier, and then I'm gonna go on top with the Chantikai on my cheeks. You might be asking, like, that seems excessive. However, I've kind of found I like to buff in the Chantikai powder, and I find that it sometimes will lift what's underneath if I don't have it kind of like set with something else first. Something to like kind of have to glide over. So I just kind of like normally sweep on the Laura Mercier and then take a flat brush like this, and then I buff this in where I want it. So I normally do forehead and cheeks. because that's where I tend to have that's where like a lot of the light catches, right? And that's where my biggest pores tend to be anyway. So we love that. And I'm sure if I didn't have facial hair, I probably would use it on my chin, just probably because I would probably have large pores there, but I don't see her. I don't know her. That's her own problem. I feel like I was talking about something before I got this far, before I started talking about product. Contouring with the Rodial Instaglam contouring powder. I think I was talking about like how it's interesting that like our brain's so easy to forget. And I've heard that when like after people give birth, that you forget the trauma of birth, like of birthing a child. Like you forget that trauma, and that's like how your brain, like how the biology of your brain gets to kind of tricks you into procreating again, which is truly bizarre and like a little unsettling if you ask me. For bronzer, I'm gonna use the Tom Ford bronzer, which I've also used in another video. Wow, guys, if you've been following along, it's just interesting to see things again, right? It's also interesting to see the categories that I have had some modicum of control in. A modicum of a control of like not buying. Like so at some point I was like, no more bronzer. And look where we are. I have more than the bronzers that I have pulled back out. They're in face palettes, and I'm not gonna pull my face palettes out again until I've worked through all of my highlighters and blushes, because those contain all three, and I wouldn't just use the bronzer. And then I'm gonna, wow, this is the first time I pulled out, so I'm gonna pull out, oh my god, I pulled out the Desert Orchid blush from Pat McGrath, and this is maybe my favorite blush I've ever owned. And I'm talking explicitly about the color, because this color is strange. It's not a color that I cognitively think I would have liked so much, but I really have been enjoying it. I like the way it looks. I like it for most things. It's pretty neutral. When it goes on the skin, it gets a little bit warmer, but like nothing, like not to the point where I think I couldn't wear it with a cooler toned look. These are pretty pigmented, so I'm just gonna tap my brush in there. I've been doing I did a blush heavy look a couple days ago, and I'm like, I'm good on blush heavy looks for a moment. So the Pat McGrath blushes are pretty pigmented, and if you go too hard, they bite back a little bit. But I find that this shade particularly, at least for my skin tone, I have found to be rather foolproof. I'm just gonna buff it out a little bit more with my powder brush. It's like you probably are looking at the screen, you're like, did anything happen? But it did. I promise you it did. Don't worry, there'll be other Pat McGrath blushes that we go through, but I really love this shade. I think it plays really well with today's eye. Something very simple, elegant. And then for highlight today, we're gonna use the Pat McGrath highlighter stick. Nude shiny stick. This is from when it was limited edition, and this was in my project pan, and I have come to really like this a lot. I haven't reached for it in a bit because I got a little over project panning a little bit, because the repetitive use of a product really kind of bothered me. And I think, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think probably because I'm not an everyday makeup wearer. So I was trying to pan things, and then I was ignoring other things in my collection. Also, this is how I prefer to put it on, just like tapping it in. But this is like very gorgeous and subtle. And I find that it plays really well on top of powders, which is why I like waited till the end to do it. It's a beautiful product. But back to project panning, I found like that to be a little bit difficult for me, just at the rate at which I use makeup. Okay, I'm gonna spray my face real quick with MAC Fix Plus. And then I'm gonna quickly throw on my mascara. This is the Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes. I'm not gonna line my eyes at all today. I'm gonna keep it easy breezy and also keep it much easier to get off at the end of the night. Not that I'm doing anything excessive tonight, but just feeling lazy. I'm going to wear a gloss today, all by itself. I only have 2 left after today. But today, I'm gonna throw on the Dior Lip Maximizer. It has a smell where you know it's gonna burn a little. It is nice and tingly. The only thing I hate, the size of this applicator. Now, I think that the size of this applicator could be someone with very small lips, good friend. I think that they would probably really like it. But as someone who with excessively plump, large lips, this applicator is too small. The tingle has started. This is my favorite lip plumping gloss. I got this in gratis from Sephora so long ago, but you can clearly, hopefully you can see, it's been used. It's a lovely product. It's something that like, it's in the realm of like, I would like to buy this again once I'm done with it. Not immediately, but it's something that I foresee myself coming back to. But the size of the applicator really bothers me because, you know, like once Fenty came out with like her lip gloss, like the big lip gloss, I was like, yeah, this is me. This is me. Today's face is complete. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see what my skin looks like. All this glitter from yesterday's look. Look at the eye. This glitter, this is that shade. It's incredibly beautiful. It's so pretty. I love the shade. Pretty natural cheek today, but you see like the beautiful glow from the highlight. And you can see that there's not a lot of coverage with the Givenchy City Ton Couture Balm. The under eyes are looking good. The Mcgrath, you know, that concealer is pretty good. The gloss is actually in a shade called Rosewood, I believe, if you were curious, but it does read more clear on my lips than it does read like a shade. So there's that. Okay. Now's the time in the video where I reflect on everything that I've used today. So let's go through it. First things first was my eyes. I used the Mini Zendo and the Mini Retro palette. In true Natasha Denona fashion, I really enjoyed using these today. I think that there's like kind of, for me, like less and less of an excuse for me to like buy the minis in the future, because I do tend to like the larger color stories, except I didn't like the large Zendo or the large Retro. So so I'm glad I didn't buy those. These are much more my speed and color story wise. I also just don't understand the color stories in the larger palettes. I guess they didn't ring true to these or feel inspired by them. That's just me. That's just my personal opinion. But I really enjoyed using these. They blended really well. They were very easy. I love a Natasha Denona moment whenever I'm doing like a quick breezy eye. We already used the all-nighter primer once, so I'm not going to belabor that. The Givenchy City Ton Couture Balm. I love it. I still love it. I will always, no, I don't know if I will always, but it's a very nice product. And I want to try the Essence one that Taylor had recommended when I'm done with this in the near future. I'm not going to run out to buy it January 1st. That's not the plan. If it's as good as Taylor promises, if it lives up to the hype, then I wouldn't need to repurchase this, because this is something I could see myself, I want to repurchase whenever this is gone. I'll be like, I want that again. Although there's going to be like a battle of the balms, because I really did like the Disappour from Dr. Jart, which was a shock. Also, once I get through all my foundations, I'm gonna try the Disappour as a primer and then put a foundation over top of it, just to see if my former coworker, if she was right. Like, I just want to try it. Like, we're gonna try it for science. Okay, but we're gonna put this in it. The smell, it's still there. I think it is. I think I've gotten past the smell, but I think if you're sensitive to scent, you wouldn't really like this. But I don't think I smell it past a certain hour, but it doesn't linger to me. It doesn't, like the Huda foundation, that stuff's stink. Like the OG Huda foundation, it doesn't stink like that. It's just like a soft, like powdery floral scent, but not rose. Let me just smell it through the tube. Okay, but that's great. I love using it. Every time I use it, and we have a good time. And we used the Mcgrath Concealer already once, so no need to reflect on that. Don't need to reflect on Tom Ford. The Mcgrath Labs Blush. Not the most exciting blush color for a look, but it's a beautiful formula. It did exactly what I needed it to do. It stayed easy, it stayed breezy. Added a nice sheen. This is a shade that has some sheen to it. I think there are matte shades, but I think all three of the shades I bought have a sheen. I like a blush with a sheen. Beautiful. I hate this packaging. It's not my favorite packaging that Pat McGrath has done. It's not as bad as some of other Pat McGrath packaging. I'll always be hard on Pat McGrath because she really got me. She's taken a lot of my money. So I'm gonna be critical, even though I love her. But also, she got me. She got me, gal. The Pat McGrath highlighter. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. It's for days like this, for looks like this. If you're someone who likes to keep it really simple, this, if you have lighter skin, there's a couple shades of this, but I'm gonna say like if you lean on the more like light fair side of things, this is a beautiful neutral highlight that you can just tap on and get that glow from within, because I don't think it's too much. And this does set down. It doesn't stay tacky on the face. It's a beautiful product. And then the Dior Lip Maximizer. Do my lips look maximized? They're still tingling a little bit. I don't mind the tingles, but if you don't like tingle, I don't think you'll like this. But you probably already know that and wouldn't buy it anyway. But it's worth mentioning. But I really like this. It's just very nice. It's very nice. It's plumping. It looks really good. It wears off really well, like, you know, like as you continue throughout the day. So this was lovely. Also, I just realized that I cannot see. I was like, why do I have to keep squinting? There we go. Enjoy my vanity lights being beamed right back at ya. I think that's everything we used today. So I'm gonna skip the iPhone footage today. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna make that call. I'm just feeling a little today. But also, we didn't really use that much today. The only thing that would really look different is my eyeshadow drawer. And so just imagine it with 2 less things. But we'll come back. Maybe we'll do that as like a weekly check-in. We'll check the drawers, see where they are, because that might be interesting. But we're getting through it. It's eyeshadow palettes is really, we're kind of almost through every other category. We really are. We're almost through every other category because we got through concealers. We're gonna get to pull those out today, which I'm gonna do off camera. But this is fun. This is fun. This project has been so worthwhile to me. I'm just gonna say that now, and I'm only on day 12. On the 12th day of Messmas. My project gave to me. If you enjoyed today's video and you want to see all of these videos, I have a playlist, which I think I keep saying I link in my description box below, but I haven't been. But this is part of a playlist where I am trying to use my makeup every day. So if you're interested in that, check out the playlist, hit the like button, and subscribe to see more. Don't worry, there's more anti-consumerism videos on the way, like more of my like self-reflection end of 2020. I'm realizing now that those fare a lot better in the algorithm. If you want to support me even further, I am also available. I'm also available on Patreon. Hit me up there. I don't know why I said it like that. I appreciate you so much for watching today's video. I will see you in tomorrow's video, friends. Thank you. Again, I'm just gonna say this one more time before I cut to my like outro with the recommendations and the videos. You don't need to be concerned about me, but I appreciate it if that was, you were gonna run to the comments and be like, wow, like, I appreciate it, but I am well. I'm just a little sad right now, and that's okay. Okay, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.